Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Transatlantic Splatoon League broadcast. We are in Week 3, and we're in the North American Division tonight. It's Supernova versus Slaughterhouse, and there's some potential playoff implications here on the line, especially given the fact that we now have 4 less matches than we were expecting that are going to get counted towards the standings. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit, but of course, my name is Kbot, you're on my channel. I'm joined by Dragonuto. Have we casted together before? I was trying to think through this.
A long time ago, I think. I'm pretty sure we did like an SMC or something. I'm pretty sure we did an SMC. Yeah. But it's been a long time. So this is an NA match. I don't think I've got to cast an NA match yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. We've got some great teams, and yeah, as you said, there is some implications towards this match. Well, potential implications thanks to Sayonara dropping out of TASL.
Yeah. So unfortunate news. Last night, Sayonara disbanded. Sorry. Powers just asked if there's no one else coming to the room, but there should be 10.
Waiting for one more, yeah.
But yeah, so we have to wait on one more because that's how the math works. I don't know if he actually looked at the names on the list, but anyway.
Yeah, I think he just thought that maybe you'd be playing Kbot. Are you subbing in today?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Handle it. Yeah. You definitely don't want 300 hours on the game or something like that. All right, but as you mentioned, Sayonara unfortunately disbanded last night, made that announcement, and they are dropping out of the Transatlantic Splatoon League as well. That statement went up on the TASL Twitter earlier this morning, and so now all of a sudden, there are only 6 matches when we were supposed to have 10. And this match very well could decide who's going to make a run towards a more convincing second place in this group, or who can be given that opportunity, right? Even if because here's the thing, if you lose, it's no longer within your own destiny. So definitely something both of these teams want to do. They both lost to Starburst earlier in the league season, and so looking to bounce back here tonight.
Yeah, wanting to take this, and specifically Slaughterhouse has been looking really good. They had a great last week against Starburst. It was a very close match, 5-4, way closer than the Supernova match that Starburst had as well. So coming into this, I believe, well, the common consensus among casters and among Twitter is that Slaughterhouse is going to take this one all the way. And we'll see how that pans out, because Supernova not a team to back down. I mean, I had them up last week in my predictions. I thought they were gonna come out of the gate swinging, but it didn't quite happen like that. So I'm still holding a little bit of faith, but I think the thought here is that Slaughterhouse is just gonna roll. I mean, do you have any issues with this, or are you gonna contest?
I think that Slaughterhouse definitely looks like the eye test tells you that they are the more competitive team right now in this league as a whole. I mean, I made the comment on the TASL tweet that went out 10 minutes ago. A lot of people are commenting that Slaughterhouse is looking the best they've ever looked, which is certainly something that you can't quite back down from. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly Supernova will come through with this. I mean, Supernova is one of those teams that's been kind of struggling to find their identity a little bit more lately, and now looks like they have a slightly different roster than what we saw from them in their first match of the season. Tonight they're playing with Chara, Zero, Juan, and Arashi. Juan is in the place of Tetsu from last time, so perhaps maybe that'll allow for them to have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more aggression that could match what we were seeing come out of the good games from Slaughterhouse last week.
Well, Awan is an incredible NZAP player and also a great support player. So I'm expecting that. But he's definitely a lot stronger. I mean, I would argue he's stronger than Tetsu, personally, and I'm not sure why they weren't fielding him beforehand. This is no slight against Tetsu. I just think Juan is an incredibly strong player and kind of earned his place, playing with people like Ant and others on teams like Serenity and Unity. So that's a long time ago. I'm shooting all the way back here, but he's definitely come up, and seeing him play here is going to be great. I don't know if he'll be the change that Supernova need, but I think it might make them a bit more competitive, might bring them a bit tighter, because I think this should be at least their main roster. Slaughterhouse, on the other hand, fielding the usuals: Power, Soldier, Taylor, and Keen. So looking for a bit of umbrella play. Soldier and last week we saw each one of these members basically performing incredibly well. They each had their moment in the sun, so potentially trying to get a repeat of that coming into this match.
Absolutely. We have to see exactly who can come out on top. We're going to Game 1 on Splatzone's The Reef. It's the neutral pick between these two, Supernova, Slaughterhouse, for Week 3 of the Transatlantic Splatoon League, and we'll have to see exactly what comes out, but looks like very stable compositions coming in from both of these teams.
Yeah, very stable compositions. We're going to see the Explosher Custom, which is definitely really an interesting pick here. Going for that bridge control potentially and holding that strong. We're going to see, well, obviously you're going to have a nice little bit of early play, but keen with the Kensa Junior, so we're going to see maybe some bubble chucking.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think has risen a lot in priority here is those bubbles, right? We've seen these bubbles be able to make plays, most notably in the hands of Anton Starburst. We'll see if King can do the same. Looks like going to do one, taking down a 0 there, perhaps being a little bit over-aggressive, but it's a 2-down situation for Supernova. Warashi immediately punishes that. 1-for-1 trade there on the zone to try to stall things out for a little bit more time. At the very least, Slaughterhouse is not going to be able to build up as much pressure closer to the Supernova base.
Yeah, Supernova here, though, they do have some specials coming online quite fast, so they're going to be able to contest quite fast here, and the bullet does come out, so he's going to be making some space for his team there with Chara, and they're going to get that zone cap, but they're going to have to get some more picks if they want to make this a bit more of a permanent thing, as their positioning right now is quite lax.
Definitely rather lax positioning, and you'll notice they're not really moving forward. The armor comes in just a little bit too late, and 0 goes down. Arashi goes down as well, thanks to the bubble combination on that side. One is going to find one here on this right side of the map, and again, a lot of these teams going splat for splat right now, very neutral in terms of score overall. One's going to pick up one here onto the zone as well, and so Supernova might be trying to gain some semblance of control, might be trying to get a push going here, and it looks like it's going to be the case that Slaughterhouse is going to need to build up their specials to push back in.
Supernova having control of the bridge here is incredibly important, but as they say that, they just lose it. Slaughterhouse take control. Zones go straight back to them. Didn't even get the lead off of that, by the way. That was a like a 15-second skirmish, and the zones weren't controlled, and Slaughterhouse are already back in control, so they're going to have their counter ticking down already. Taylor with the aggressive inkjet, looking for one, but doesn't quite get it, and it's going to be Supernova's opportunity here with the pick.
How many squids are just going down in this game? It seems like there's so many. There's a double kill that goes one way. There's one that goes back the other direction with a flank from the other side or something you weren't quite expecting. This game has been so scrappy, as perhaps Ninja would like to say here. Splashdown is going to land onto one, and one's going to be aggressive onto Soldier in order to clean that one up. But again, I mean, right now, Slaughterhouse just barely holding on to the zone for the time being. It's going to get challenged by Supernova as they start to push in, but neither one of these teams has really made a full commanding presence known on the map overall. Juan is now going to pick up one, but again, they're not painting a zone right now. Supernova, where are these zones?
Yeah, well, Juan here on the being incredibly aggressive, in fact, taking out multiple members of Slaughterhouse, and I think maybe the change they needed. Supernova quite passive playstyle, and he's going to be adding that aggression that, like you said, they would be entirely necessary. They have the armor on deck as well, ready for the next push, and they want to take the lead here, but the armor going to drop there. Actually getting taken down by Taylor. Huge pick from him. They still have the zones, and they will take the lead, but I don't think that was a great play.
Perhaps not. I mean, it doesn't really seem to amount to much of anything here, as now Juancho's going to be able to punish back the other direction, gets a double at the very least. Soldier's going to go down there, and now, again, Supernova has control of the zones. This is the strongest they've looked all game. If you look at the amount of yellow ink that's all around the map right now, and with Keen going down, it's a 2-down situation, make it a 3-down situation once more for Slaughterhouse. They just haven't been able to find the push back into the zone needed. They all go in one by one and get taken out. An ink armor gets popped here to secure the deal for Supernova, and they go up 1-0 in this series.
What the hell was Keen doing? He was literally in their spawn with the junior. What was the plan? Honestly, I think he got caught out there on a push, and that kind of just didn't work out. That really did him dirty on his team. I think their poor positioning there might have cost them the game, because the other three members can't push in on that, and Juan showing his presence right there on the scoreboard. 13 KA. Absolute destruction from the start there.
It really was. And that's one of the things, as I was mentioning, it was always like a double kill situation or something. Anytime that Slaughterhouse was able to make a play, oftentimes it was Juan that was immediately able to respond, picking off one, slowing down the push coming in from Slaughterhouse to make sure that they didn't get out of hand at all. And so now we're even going to get to go to the Supernova map pick. It's going to be splat zones on Piranha Pit, where they're likely going to have a lot of the same game plan. We're just going to start running circles around their opponents here with members like 1 and 0. They can just be those aggressive frontals and, try to go for a lot of these skirmishes.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one and Arashi click that plus button, A button to ready up as fast as humanly possible. So I don't think we're going to see any changes there. Slaughterhouse, though, might be looking towards something different here. This is a different type of map, a lot more wide open. So potentially maybe wanting to capitalize more on power with that charger. Honestly, I feel like that was just a bit of I mean, the first 2 minutes of the game was so scrappy. Like no team had a proper foothold until that point. Slaughterhouse looked like they did at the start, but Supernova basically came in and said, "No, okay, no," and took a couple of them out and made it so much shakier. I mean, it was just good play all around. But obviously, we saw Supernova coming out a little bit stronger in the second half of that match and managing to take hold a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's exactly what it comes down to. And I think, like, that's a lot of what Supernova is going to want to do here overall, is play the long game, play the scrappy game, because they probably expect that they can probably outmatch a lot of these players in skirmishes, in those 1v1 skirmishes or 1v1 situations, with very mechanically talented players like Zero, like Juan, even Chara supporting in from the midline or backline positions. So we'll have to see if that's kind of the game plan that they decide to go for with the rest of this set now. As I mentioned, Splatzone's Piranha Pit going to be a lot more open on the whole, and is going to allow them to adopt a lot of that game plan as well. So we'll have to see as we load onto this map.
Yeah, keep an eye on those conveyor belts, by the way, guys, because those are incredibly crucial to the zone control here, and you may be seeing some interesting plays come off of them. But comp-wise, not too much difference. Power's sticking with the bamboo, which I think is a bit of an underutilization there of his weapons. Like, I feel like he could have gone for a charger, but used a bit more of the range on a map like this.
Power's actually played almost every single map on bamboo. I think that, like, for the first set, he played like 7 of the games out of the 8, and he played even more in the second one. Although this time around, you do mention that. The other thing I want to note here, Keen switching over to the tent umbrella, opting instead for a little bit more of that zone pressure as opposed to those bubbles, and it looks like it's going to pay off for Slaughterhouse here early. So they're able to convert these zone caps, and now you'll see this inkjet multiple times. That's Taylor over the wall to try to pick off some of these members of Supernova before they can really start charging their specials.
Yeah, interesting, but that control, they've already got down 40 points. The pressure that Slaughterhouse has put up has been great. Only now is they having some challenge on the zones, and yeah, a member of Slaughterhouse does go down. Supernova using this opportunity to push back in. The bubbles are going to help contest that. Soldier manages to pick up one, but he does get taken down, so I think that may be... Oh, in fact, no. Keen and Power are still in great position to hold that one zone, so this is going to be a bit of a scrappy one.
Once again, playing the scrappy game here with Supernova. They can't quite seem to find all of their ducks in a row in order to push back in, but again, Chara trades back in the direction onto Taylor. You know, once again, the scrappy playstyle, I think, is going to be something that we're really going to have to keep an eye on and get used to over the course of the entirety of the rest of this set. It looks like those Slaughterhouse maintaining control for the time being. Once again, we're not seeing a lot of these windows of opportunity getting just open up here for Supernova. Chara forced to actually pop this baller now as Taylor's being a little bit more aggressive. Just going to throw that one down and get immediately taken out as well. It's a 2-down situation for Supernova, and once more, Slaughterhouse is going to maintain zone control.
Yeah, Supernova being pushed back pretty far there. Their members being kind of shuffled. Slaughterhouse doing a really good job at holding onto those zones. You can see that's exactly why how in Splatzo's zone control is so important, because even with those 2-down situations, they managed to keep control and get even more points on without penalty. As I say that, there's Zero here picking up a couple of kills, pushing his way in and finally getting the cap on the zones to start this out. So this is an opportunity now for Supernova to finally get something done after a game where they just couldn't get in.
The thing about this right now is that Supernova's going to have to find a way to hold on to things, and it looks like Slaughterhouse really doesn't want to let them get the opportunity. Zero's going to get a nice pick on Keen from max range. Taking out that 10 umbrella is going to be massive, but have to be careful with the bubbles from behind. Where did those come from? Soldier comes from literally the other side of the map, and now you'll notice that opens the window for Slaughterhouse to move forward. They're starting to take control of a lot of these zones. Now Soldier getting challenged a little bit. Charge trying to support from behind with these explosive shots, but they can't quite seem to land anything, and Arashi goes down to the fire, or takes one down to the firefight. It's a 3-down situation for Slaughterhouse, and now Supernova holds. We'll see once again if they can hold on for long enough.
It looks like we're seeing it from both sides here. Slaughterhouse now unable to get back in. That was a pretty much a full investation from Slaughterhouse, and they just didn't get anything done, putting Keen in a bit of a rough situation here. He's probably going to get taken down. Yes, he is. So they're just going to stagger the pushes even more, giving Supernova potentially more time. But Slaughterhouse opting to go in anyway and throw their special charge away, which is a bit of an interesting choice. But fine, Supernova's like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take the opportunity, and they recoup a bit more time on that zone.
And they're going to take the lead here as, oh, wait a minute, hold that thought for a moment, as actually Slaughterhouse makes the right call at the right time in order to stall things out for a little while longer. It's a gun situation for Slaughterhouse, but a good gun situation for Supernova as well. Soldier trying to push up here, but Char's being a little bit more pesky from behind. Soldier gets taken down thanks to that distraction. Zero capitalizes on the opportunity, and Supernova takes the lead with a 3-down situation on Slaughterhouse. They might even look for the knockout here.
Yeah, well, a good turnaround here from Supernova. Again, with the early game being incredibly sloppy for Supernova, and then just managing to pull it all together towards the end. They were really far down, and it's going to be an opportunity here from Slaughterhouse. They do manage to touch the zones, but 2 down already. It's not looking too good. It's going to have to come up big here from Power, and that's not looking like the case. Just Keen left alone, and yeah, he's going to be pinned down. That's going to be game.
That is game again for Supernova, and once again, it just seems like Slaughterhouse can't quite seem to find their team pushes, you know, that sometimes, or that we're used to seeing from a lot of these other teams. You know, in a lot of cases, we're used to seeing you pop your ink armor, seeing you throw a bunch of your specials on one part of the map, and they can't quite seem to find those recently. They're just starting to roll right into Supernova, and they're taking out one by one. You notice how high some of those scores were as well. Well done there to Supernova to hold on.
I'm thinking like the casters might be wrong. I think we're all gonna get burned this week.
Here we go.
Look, we didn't expect it. We didn't see Supernova. Look, I knew I was right last week. Everybody told me. Everybody said, no, Toby, what? You overrate Supernova. You think they're too good. You think they're doing too well. Well, look here. They're nearly beating Slaughterhouse, and Slaughterhouse nearly beat Stubbs. They just had a bad week last week. Okay, I'm saying it now. And I mean, honestly, it's been. Like I said earlier, it was scrappy fights. Like 2 minutes of scrappy fights at the start of the match. Slaughterhouse won them over for most of it this time, right? But as soon as it came down to that last couple minutes, Supernova, it's like they're a really cold engine. They're taking their time to warm up, and as soon as they get going, and they're resetting every match to do this. So that first 2 minutes of the game, you can't clue them out. Slaughterhouse need to, but. As I'm saying that, Slaughterhouse need to capitalize on that, right? They know now that in the first 2 minutes, yeah, they need to put that pressure on. They need to take as big of a lead as they can, because Supernova are going to come out swinging in the last couple minutes of the match.
It's going to be a matter of controlling the pace of the game, right? If they can find the picks early and start snowballing this out of control, especially on a map that we're going to next, like Splat Zone's new Albacore Hotel, one of those maps that's just traditionally going to be perhaps a little bit longer range, going to be a little bit slower here, and that's hopefully going to try to mitigate some of the pressure that you see just constantly come through from Supernova. Again, like it really does kind of come down to whether or not Slaughterhouse can control the pace of this game, whether or not they can maybe dump some more ice or dump some more coolant on that engine that you were talking about, just to stall that out for a little while longer and push us through to the end of the game.
But as that's being said, Slaughterhouse, what do they need to do? What are they missing out on here? What's slowing them down, do you think? I mean, I'm not sure.
I honestly think, I don't think anything's slowing Slaughterhouse down. I just don't think that they're able to find the click aha moments, like push back into the zone, take control of the zone, wipe the enemy team. They haven't been able to find any of those so far. We'll see if they can find them here as we go to Splat Zones on New Albacore Hotel. Once again, the Slaughterhouse pick. And then we'll have to see what kinds of adaptations are going to come in. Looks like Taylor going to go over to the Kensa Pro there. So again, a little bit more of a longer range, and we see a little bit of adaptation as well coming out of Supernova.
Yeah, one there with the custom dually squelches, and we're also going to see Chara on the Crapid and Zero on the L3. So definitely a lot of changes on the side of Supernova, and I mean, out the gate. What was I saying about them being a cold engine? I think I might have been wrong here. They come out the gate with a double, and it's already a spawn lock. I think you can see Zero in the background there with the inkjet. He does get taken down, but he was inkjetting in the spawn, so not great. Slaughterhouse now with the pick is going to try and take an opportunity to get back into the zone. This is Albacore, by the way, so pushing in over that hump can be a bit of a bitch. So we're going to see if Slaughterhouse are going to be able to take the zone now. It's looking like they're going to be able to take it.
Yeah, definitely. Looking promising here. It's a 2-down situation right now for Supernova. They're able to push through the zone and able to take control with only losing one. But an Inkjet and Baller are met the other direction here for Supernova to try to hold on, to try to stall out for a little bit more time. The Inkjet's going to land onto Power, gets the flick shot onto the flick shot master, and looks like Power's going to need to go back to Aim Labs for that one.
Aimlabs #ad. So Supernova again back with the zone control. They have got one down, but they should be able to control this one, especially if they hold an aggressive position like they did in the first cap. He has Zero going straight back towards the spawn here. He's going to try that hold one more time, maybe not get picked. He's looking for the Inkjet. He's quite close towards that special. So what he's say looking for the Inkjet. He's also looking for the picks. He gets one. He's looking for a second here on Power. Power pressed against the wall, and that's another one going down there. Although, while he's doing that, they lose the zone. Half of his team have gone down. Keen and Soldier putting in a load of work. He does come back to recoup that, but that's another penalty put on top.
one more penalty and just kind of long the game out here for Slaughterhouse, a team that it has had difficulty so far pushing back into this map. We'll see if they can do it here, but they need to start shutting up their specials here. Taylor has the Booyah Bomb immediately popped it. Keen's going to go down here, so that's one less member to take care of, but it's a 2-down situation for Supernova nonetheless, and it's going to allow Slaughterhouse the opportunity to move forward. Meanwhile, Zero from behind going to take out one. Now in the firefight with Soldier here around these zones. Soldier has the bubbles at the ready, but Zero's going to be able to escape. Now trying to pull some fancy footwork here with the Inkjet. Look at this manipulation of his Inkling. It's going to go down nonetheless, but man, was that movement fun to watch.
That was interesting there, but as I say, that Supernova have lost 3 of their members. Is just one left in. He's looking for a pick, but he gets taken down. Zero jumps in, but takes one and trades it out, but that's going to be the lead towards Slaughterhouse as they managed to turn this one around, and now it's their turn to get aggressive. Taylor butting into spawn, telling Zero, I can do that too, man. I can get in, and I've got a panic special like Booyah Bomb. I don't need to worry about the Inkjet death. So the aggressive positioning being held here is going to help that ticker go down even further.
We'll have to see, though, if they can hold on here. The Ink Armor was just popped from Supernova as they start to move on forward. You see the Ink Storm come out as well here, and the Crap and Chip Jam is just going to shove the rest of these numbers to Slaughterhouse away, applying that penalty. Taylor gets one with the Booyah Bomb onto Chara. It's another one down for Supernova as well, so they're not going to be able to get the hold here that they really want, and Slaughterhouse is going to be able to just take control of the rest of this game, most likely. They still have a long way to go, though, to secure victory.
Yeah, I think that cap there was more about making them stop. Just knockout. They didn't. It was balls to the wall. They didn't care about holding it. They just wanted to throw all their specials at the zone and cap it. And they did manage to do that. But now they need to use this extra time that they've bought themselves to earn a more conclusive victory over on that zone. They do have the armor, and they're gonna pop that. The bubbles and the missiles come out, which is huge pressure. Manages to take one out, so that's gonna be a tough one. They're gonna get the zone cap, but I don't know how long that one's gonna last. Because again, this is more of a slapdash effort.
Look at how much pressure that Slaughterhouse was able to apply from safe distances. You noticed the bubbles, you commented on the missiles as well, and then Power was kind of waiting in the wings there in order to make sure that that push didn't get too far out of hand, and it was done rather well there by Slaughterhouse to make sure that that push was shut down. And now, once again, they're in control. It's a 2-down situation for Supernova, and 50-some-odd seconds remain. But all of a sudden, now Slaughterhouse in knockout territory. If you look at that timer as well, Supernova really has to start moving forward. Rashi's going to have the Ink Armor at the ready, and it's only a matter of time before that gets pushed. And once you see that, Taylor immediately responds with a Booyah Bomb to try to zone some of these members away. They're forced on the grates here. Taylor going to try to find one, trade down with one, but no, it's going to go down nonetheless. It's going to be the cap on over to Supernova all the meanwhile, and at least they're going to have that to work with. But with the 2-down situation once more, they can't hold on to the zone in the positions they'd like. Looks like they are going to be, or maybe take out Keen, but this Tenebrella is just so annoying sometimes. Keen's able to find the one onto Arashi and Chara as well. Power moves up here for a little while longer, gets the trade onto Zero, and oh my goodness, Keen once more stalling and making plays for Slaughterhouse.
Keen, what was that? I mean, I'm seeing Taylor on the side of the map here, just managed to trade out with a couple, so that's going to be Supernova trying to get that kid Chara straight into the drink. 2 dose, all on the floor, and Slaughterhouse taking their first map in this set.
That's just the Hail Mary from Chara. Just like, please let me land on the zone. Please let me get a little bit more ink on the zone to stall it out. But no, you're met with the ink that's going to knock you back the other direction. And Slaughterhouse on the board, slowly ramping up. Taylor with the 17 splats and assists, absolutely popping off in that game.
10 bubbles? There was 10 bubbles.
Were there 10 bubbles?
They're treating it like it's ink armor. That's disgusting. I don't like it. I don't like it. But, and that's hard as well coming out because Keen and Soldier are incredibly good with their bubbles. They're dangerous. They don't need the junior trick to be able to pop them quick. Especially with the squeezer, you can throw a bomb in it anyway. But honestly, look, Keen was dirty at the end there, right? Like, he knew he had the bubbles and he had his shield and he knew he could stall them out, and that's what he was going for. But not only did he get Arashi, he also took down, I think it was Zero as well. 2 of them in that fight. That was insane.
Absolutely insane. And that's one of the things, right, where if you paired that many bubbles with a tent umbrella, look at how much time that tent was just able to stall sitting there. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, get some ink on me? What are you gonna do? Splat me? Like, you can't do anything. I'm just here. I just exist now, and I'm gonna be a nuisance to the rest of your team composition for the next couple of seconds. And that's exactly what Slaughterhouse needed in that case. But now we're heading back to a neutral map here. Slaughterhouse looking to try to come on back here in the series, even out the score as we go to one of my personal favorite game modes of all of Splatoon, Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skatepark, baby. Woo!
Why? Are you
What
AC?
do you mean, why?
Are you AC? Is your name AC? Have you replaced him?
Okay,
Is it,
listen
now
to
that
me,
you
listen
left
to
the community, are you the AC now? Is you gonna put Rainmaker Blackbelly in every single?
First of all, basically I am, because now I run most of the lands in North America. But outside of that, you haven't seen like the first competitive match that I saw of Rainmaker Blackbelly Skatepark is what made me fall in love with it. When you get the opportunity to search the Endgame TV Twitch channel for Booyah Battle 2. Don't do it now because we're about to hop in the next game and you're going to want to stick around for the rest of the series because it's about to be a banger. But Rainmaker Blackbelly Skatepark, again, one of my favorites. We'll have to see what kinds of adaptation comes out, but it's not going to be about these scrappy fights because you're going to need to put a coherent push together in order to get this one down far.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this map favors Slaughterhouse's comp a bit better. They've got the safer comp here, and they're going to be running the Sorella Brella. So Keen going for more of the aggressive Brella style is going to be interesting here. They're going to trade out around the Rainmaker, and one with the early Inca, looking for one, but he's kind of being pressured here. He's not really going to be able to get much, and yeah, just taken down promptly. Slaughterhouse though, what? Loses two members immediately. And what? Zero? Okay.
Yep.
Soldier left alone in the mid after what looked like a conclusive fight win from Slaughterhouse.
These are the things that players like Juan, like Arashi, and like Zero just are not afraid of. They are not afraid of trying to target that Rainmaker to make sure the push goes nowhere. And that's exactly what I think Zero just did on that last play. They just said, oh, you have the Rainmaker now? You're in a 2v1 situation. It doesn't matter. At the very least, I can trade with the Rainmaker and make sure that push doesn't go anywhere. Smart play there from Zero in order to shut that one down. But now Supernova goes 3 down. There's not going to be very many players left alive here. Juan is trying to make some work happen here, but or maybe that was Zero. I can't even tell at this point. Is probably going to go down there nonetheless, or at least be ignored by Slaughterhouse for the time being. Soldier can't quite seem to get the pressure onto Chara, but now a push down to 39 for Slaughterhouse is going to be exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, but again, this is Blackbelly we're talking about here. Close to 39 is nothing. That's a great start, but you definitely want to be underneath the 20s, or it's really a shaky push. Power here with the Ray. He's going to bring it out, looking for that Rainmaker. He wants to take it out so they can't get out of spawn as fast. Keen backing him up, I believe, to take out the kill there. And it's a rough situation, but I think Slaughterhouse won this fight.
By the way, just looking at the stats, what I wanted to mention earlier, this is the first time in TASL that Power is playing the custom Jet Squelcher in that Raybot position. So we'll see if that can support Slaughterhouse here for a little while longer as they start to push on forward once more, start to threaten this, because the Rainmaker just has not been cleared out yet by Supernova. They haven't been able to take care of business, but now with the 2-1 situation, that is looking likely. The last one's going to jump on away, and finally some breathing room for Supernova as they start to take back control of the rest of the map.
Yeah, before they make this push, I just want to say real quick that Kbot, if you ever play backline in a tournament, you should definitely play the Ray because you be the Ray bot. Look, I had to say it just came to mind. But as we're saying, that there is a push attempt coming out from Supernova, but they get fully wiped. Power with the Ray is going to stop the Rainmaker, and then the rest of the members are going to fall down. Parring course thanks to Keen and Taylor, I believe. So a nice quick one, and they're going to look for that mid control before they even get that Rainmaker.
Yeah, but one of the scary things is that even with a large part of mid-control, these aggressive players like Zero are just going to try to shark around you. They're going to try to get some work done here, at the very least, on this objective. But Zero not able to do that, was shut down by Slaughterhouse. But it's a 3-down situation. Taylor, the last one alive, all of a sudden for Slaughterhouse, going to be forced to jump away, and Supernova giving the Rainmaker once more.
Yeah, that explosive potential out of Supernova that comes out when the Rainmaker is picked up is kind of scary. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and Supernova's like, okay, and Slaughterhouse can't do anything. So getting that push past the 30s is going to be quite hard for them. That being said, for Supernova, it's not going to be as hard because they managed to take down 3 of the members. The Ray is going to be the last saving grace. Does manage to stop the Rainmaker before it gets to 20, but 25 is still a scary push. One with the Inkjet in the spawn, looking for Taylor. He manages to get it. Rashid picks up the Rainmaker, pushes just a little bit further. Keen now in the spawn, still trying to put up some damage. They do pop the Rainmaker, but that toxic mist is going to be a pain in the ass, and Slaughterhouse is going to be able to take it out, keep the Rainmaker safe, and hopefully reset this after that incredible push from Supernova.
very well done, and relentless nature once more, proving for Supernovas are able to get it down to 11-point mark. We'll see what the response is from Slaughterhouse, as they now are the ones that are going to have to push, and they're going to have to come up with something miraculous here. But Keenan gets taken out on the side here by Zero. Zero's going to try to come up from the flank from behind. Now he's going to get targeted, called out here, but just trying to buy a little bit more time, and all of a sudden you see Slaughterhouse continue to push forward, but now Zero once more coming up from behind. You cannot forget about this player. Takes down Soldier with a Rainmaker, and now going to stall for time here in favor of Supernova, and time is all Supernova needs.
Yeah, that was a 2-down situation for Slaughterhouse. That push was all as good as dead, but all they needed to do was at least stall out. Oh, Keen. Oh, Keen. What? A little bit of awareness, man. Jeez. But that's going to be a huge pick for Supernova, putting Slaughterhouse in a bit more of a negative position. So I'm just going to pop the bomb rush to try and put some pressure. Oh, Supernova, why? They're trying to do the old stall technique, but they forgot. They got the Ray. The Ray stops it, and it's going to be aggression here from Taylor to be able to get that Rainmaker out of that cubby.
Able to get it out here, and now Zero goes down to the Rainmaker shield burst as well, and all of a sudden Slaughterhouse is set up with the opportunity to push forward. They have to be a little bit careful. Char's going to be able to trade with Juan. Juan's winning the wings here. It's going to find the Rainmaker. They didn't know Juan was there, and Juan was able to just pop out, take care of 3, and that's going to be the end of the game. Supernova going up 3-1 in the series.
Definitely unexpected. That was nobody likes the cheesy hold, but I think Supernova made the right call there. They knew that they could hold them at that position, especially with the comp, and honestly, I think the mistake from Slaughterhouse was letting Power pick up that Rainmaker at the end, because the Stingray could have been crucial, but obviously that didn't end up playing out like that, and we're going to see Supernova taking game 3 going into this set, which is unexpected. Look, it's unexpected.
Well, hey, look, all that Slaughterhouse has to do is win the next 4 games in a row, and everything's fine, because all the casters predicted 3-5. So, I mean...
True.
It could just be all according to plan, right? I mean, I haven't seen the script, even though I am the script writer. So, we'll have to see, how exactly the rest of this plays out. But now, I commented on this a little bit ago, while we were just going back and forth before we started. We're actually going to Blackbelly Skatepark twice in a row. So if you're not aware of how this works, maps 1, 4, 7 are all neutral picks for the entirety of the league. Maps 2, 5, and 8 are all higher seed picks, and 3, 6, 9 are all lower seed picks. So one of the maps that Supernova picked was just going back to Blackbelly Skatepark after the neutral pick in Rainmaker Blackbelly Skatepark. So we get to see this again. The question that I always like to ask Dragonuto is, how many tri-sloshers are we going to see on the map?
Honestly, with these teams, 1 each, potentially. Because, honestly, in my scrims recently, I've seen less and less...
Wait, you scrim?
Yeah, I scrim. What are you on about? I still play this game. I get my +2 scrims in weekly. What are you on about?
Right.
I'm not even in +2 and I get my +2 scrims in weekly. But it doesn't matter who you are, you know someone. But
right.
This map, funnily enough, I've seen more Tri-Slosher Nouveau on this map than I've seen normal Tri-Slosher. Like, obviously you still see the 1 or 2 Tri-Sloshers coming in, right? But we're not going back to the double Tri-Sloshers that we've had like a month ago. Those are starting to go away, at least from my view. So I'm hoping to see less of that.
We'll have to see exactly what comes out here, of course. The Tri-Slosher is just used because it's one of those weapons that can just take care of one of these zones almost single-handedly. Another thing that can do that, the Explosher. I expect to see that come out of Char, and indeed we do. Zero switching over to the Nautilus, which is a pick we don't see come out of him very often. We know that we've seen him play around with a lot of these Splatlings, but the Nautilus coming out here, trying to be a little bit bolder.
Yeah, what did I say? No Tri-Sloshes. It's not been in the meta as of recent. But even though it's so strong, it was so strong on this map, I think people have learned to play around it, so people have stopped playing it. But yeah, the Explosher are a lot more expected. I think, especially at Chara, who plays that Explosher quite often. The early cap does go towards Slaughterhouse, but that's not going to last very long. Both teams losing a member, and Keen with the bubble trick, looking for a pick. Oh, so close. Nearly picking up that member of Supernova, who just barely got away. Keen getting out, surviving, running. Keen, he's just running away. Ooh,
okay.
He does manage to get 0, so that's big.
Yeah, that's one of the things where, like, that's the double-edged sword, right, of, like, the Kensu Junior, is that you're very vulnerable, right? Given the fact that you have that very short range, you just gotta have to run around and try to hope that you can paint enough of the map so that when you have the bubbles, you can make that big impact play. But something that we didn't see Keen quite able to completely take care of there. And now, Zero with the Sonanos, a little bit of extra range, is going to try to be a little bit more aggressive here in terms of taking down some of these members and get the one onto Keen there as well through the bubbles. Down to 58 already is Supernova as they get yet another trade, and their defenses are currently holding.
Yeah, Slaughterhouse looking pretty negative here, not doing very well. Obviously, like I think I agree with what you said. The junior, the Kensu Junior is literally just run around, get the bubbles, be aggressive. Oh my god. What was that? Was that a bomb?
That was a bomb on top. Yeah, I think that was a bomb on top that explodes there, and so completely shutting down any kind of momentum here that Slaughterhouse was looking to try to take care of. And you'll notice here Supernova once more stalling out for a little bit more time. Char is able to get a little bit of ink onto the zone from afar with this Explosher. And again, all that Supernova has to do is try to hold on to one of these zones, make sure that their zone isn't tapped. And as long as they do that, they can just continue stalling out for as long as possible. It's Slaughterhouse that are going to need the ones that need to push forward. Soldier tries to do just that, is able to find one, but again, they're not really capitalizing on this as a team.
Well, I think, honestly, Soldier's pick was the only pick that we saw. The rest of the team did manage to get punished out of that. So, Supernova holding strong. They did get the penalty, but that's not going to be enough here. Soldier, bit of awareness there. The bomb taking him by surprise from behind. Arashi just throwing them in, getting these bomb kills. He's gonna be making a clip of these soon enough. And the zone ticker is going down even further. And Supernova not really looking like they're relenting any of the control.
Not at all. Once more, I mean, this is one of the things I'm talking about, right? Supernova can play a little bit more passively here as long as it means maintaining control and letting Slaughterhouse come to them, and they're doing that very well as now they're in control of the zones once more, and they might even potentially be looking for the knockout here. Slaughterhouse really needs to get a wipe here and needs to coordinate their specials in a way that allows them to do so, but Keen can't get caught out here early, is forced to pop the balls and try to move forward here, but he's disengaged from the rest of the team as the rest of the team are looking towards their own zone. It's a 2-9 situation already for Slaughterhouse, and Supernova once more maintain control. They're able to continue stalling out for time here, and they're very likely getting the knockout.
Yeah, this is just going to tick further down. The bombs are going to be the only thing that can save them. The bubbles come in. He does manage just to stop the zone. Huge from Soldier there, but he's the only one left alive. And so he just needs to hold. He just needs to hold as hard as he can, and that's not going to happen. So, unfortunately, fortunately for Supernova, taking another game 4-1 against all predictions, Slaughterhouse being absolutely destroyed.
I wonder, so my guess is that Supernova really started to take their scrims a little more seriously after their earlier loss to Starburst. I think they probably saw a little bit of potential. Also, I think the extra potential little bit of flexibility and aggression that Juan likes to show really suits well with the rest of this lineup, especially when you're throwing Arashi on something that can just paint for armors a ton, and then you have, your two main slayers in the form of Zero and Juan. I mean, we comment on these roles oftentimes where you see these two frontline aggressors, you see the support, and you see a backline or midline role, and we see that a lot because it just works, right? If you have two people that can just open up these windows of opportunity for you, it works so much better, and that's something that I think the previous Supernova composition that we saw last week was missing, and now they're able to find all together with our core roster.
Yeah, it's not a slight against Tetsu, but I think Juan coming in here is better for the comp, especially if they're going to be running Arashi. I think that this is a good combination, that they work well together, and Juan is incredibly aggressive, and he brings that to them. And yeah, I think you're right. They've addressed a lot of the mistakes that they made against Starburst last week. I think they've come into this, and honestly, I would say that's just Supernova as a team. They might not always win all of the tournaments, but they're studious and they learn from their mistakes. And usually, if something happens to them, the same thing won't happen twice. So I'm expecting. Well, I mean, I'm not expecting them to take this, take the TASL the whole way, but I am expecting to see a lot stronger performances out of them in the coming weeks, especially if this is a key sign of what's to come.
Well, I mean, as I look down at my schedule, the only match they have left is against FT Win.
Never mind.
Sorry guys, we love you. We love you all. It's just like FT1 killed Sayonara, alright? Like,
well, if they take this one, then they're okay, right?
They're 1-1.
Yeah. And Sayonara not being here makes them better off?
Technically, well, if they win versus FT Win, they actually probably make playoffs. and they win here. But they're going to be hopping into the game because I'm not paying attention. We're going to the Slaughterhouse pick of Tower Control MakoMart. They need to win the remainder of these games to take this series back, as we're now on set point for Supernova.
Well, honestly, on Tower Control, I argue that this is going to be Slaughterhouse's better maps. So I'm expecting more play from Slaughterhouse here. I mean, at least from what I remember from last week, Slaughterhouse performed a lot better on these modes, even though they did lose this map to Stardust. They put up an incredibly good fight, and I think potentially they may have done a little bit of scrim review, the old Hexen special, and hopefully brought this in, and they are coming out to a really good start here. Supernova, I don't think I saw many members of Supernova going down. I think they just backed out and let Slaughterhouse take that first checkpoint, potentially wanting to get those specials. Zero here picking up a crucial pick on, I believe that was Taylor, so that could be huge for them.
Definitely looks like it's going to be, and it's going to shut down this push from Slaughterhouse, and now, okay. I don't know exactly why the bubbles were just popped, why that person was over there, but nonetheless, we're going to just continue stalling for a little bit more time as we go for a little bit more of these scrappier mid and neutral plays coming in for both of these teams. And now, you know, once again, Slaughterhouse trying to be a little bit more aggressive. Looks like Arashi is going to jump out, but the rest of the team is able to clean up. It's a 3-down situation. Arashi pops the armor, but Supernova, this first checkpoint's probably 3 for you.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Arashi jumped up because he wanted to keep the armor, right? That was great awareness from him. Shame he popped the armor when he didn't really need to pop the armor. And he does get taken down by Taylor there, so they do get the first checkpoint. Taylor taking an important pick. Chara having to pop his bubble early because of the missiles, but Slaughterhouse cleaning up the rest of the team. Doesn't really matter anyway. They're going to be able to start pushing back. And Supernova didn't take the lead off of that, but they did get that crucial first checkpoint, which is going to be huge for them.
And now they have 3 specials at the ready here. Taylor pops the Inkjet, is able to get a double, and he's looking for at least one more. Now trying to come up from behind here with the bubbles as well. Looks like the tower's going to get a little bit more pressure, though. Keen is kind of caught out here. Going to be forced to try to slip on away, and is going to be able to do just that. Splashdown, though, does come on to try to buy a little bit more time, but it's not even going to matter. Supernova goes 3 down, and Slaughterhouse is just going to continue this push. They're looking to get past the second checkpoint, which would be absolutely massive, and they... Whoa, no! That was Castor's curse. We just went down to a bomb here. Power is going to be able to clear that checkpoint there for Slaughterhouse. 2 down for them, so it looks like the end of the push here. But Supernova didn't hold that defense. They're going to need to make it up on offense.
Honestly, watching that, I mean, I have the overhead over here, by the way, as well, so I can see from above. Both teams made some massive misplays there. Obviously, one with, I think it was Power getting caught out, Keen, sorry, getting caught out on the tower. But Supernova really dove in on top of that tower when they really could have used the high ground to their advantage. Potentially, that could have been a fatal push for them. But nonetheless, Slaughterhouse with an incredibly strong push, and Supernova looking to fight back, but Taylor is distracting 2 members of the team and stalling it out, potentially waiting for Keen to get the bubbles.
Probably just looking for that, and right now, Supernova really doesn't even have that much map control here. You see Zero sharking for a little bit more time. It's going to try to get this unsuspecting drop onto Soldier. It is going to be able to find it. It's a 2-down situation for Slaughterhouse, actually, which means that window of opportunity is going to be open as they start moving this tower towards that second checkpoint once more. Again, they only need 10 more points to go here, but here comes a little bit more of that chip damage coming in from Soldier with that Kent's machine. It's going to go down nonetheless. The 10 missiles coming onto the tower. It's going to clean up for the favor of Slaughterhouse. The Supernova goes 3 down. Well done defensive plays, holding that second checkpoint for Slaughterhouse.
Oh, beautiful talk there from Keen to take out that last member of Supernova, and Slaughterhouse now with another opportunity to extend their lead. That was an incredibly important stop that they made on that tower checkpoint. I mean, aside from the fact that it was so close to them losing the lead, it was really important that they didn't let them get that checkpoint, even if they did manage to push back further. 2 members now do go down on Slaughterhouse's side, so Supernova are going to look towards taking control again. This is the last minute of the match. They need to start making an impression now.
Just stall for a little bit more time. We really cannot make very many mistakes right now if you're Slaughterhouse. Again, your set life is on the line right now. Soldier coming in with a splashdown is able to provide a little bit more ink coverage here. And now Chara being a little bit more aggressive with the ball. I want to see this turn come around, but that's going to be the direct from Chara onto Soldier. Goes down nonetheless here. Power cross map is going to take care of that one, but it's another 3-down situation for Slaughterhouse. It's going to be map control and over to Supernova here. They're going to go ahead and take that. They're going to charge up the specials. They're going to look to make this final second push to seal the deal.
Yeah, they got that massive control now going on. Zero with the checking out on those tensor missiles, looking for the positioning of Slaughterhouse there to relay that to his team. 20 seconds now left on the clock. They need to start getting picks here. They haven't got any picks. Even though they're pushing that tower forward, they need picks. They need to get more aggressive. That's exactly what they get. They managed to take out Taylor. Look, they managed to take out one more. They're looking at that checkpoint. 10 seconds remain. They need to get on that tower. They need to get on that tower. Power needs to make a move here. There's 2 down on Supernova. It's 1 person, just 1 left. He can take some Taylor. He can take it down. It's by 1 point. Power just managing to touch that tower in time. Oh my god, that was so close.
We're gonna have to like go back and try to actually see who was the one that got those final 2 splats. I couldn't tell if that was Power or if that was Taylor, but nonetheless, Slaughterhouse able to collapse around the tower and barely squeak that one away. And they are still alive for the time being. 4-2 now in this series. They can potentially come back with it. But it's gonna be close.
It's an ask, but I tell you what, a match like that is incredibly good for the momentum of a Slaughterhouse. It was tight, but that's going to give them a bit more confidence in themselves, I think, especially going into another TC match. They're going to be thinking, well, we controlled that whole game, right? We controlled it all. We had the lead for like 3 of the minutes out of it. They came back and made maybe 2 good pushes towards the end. You could say that was nerves. We can write that all down to nerves. And Slaughterhouse now probably coming into this thinking, we've got what works. We know what we can do. Let's apply it to this next match and start their comeback. And I mean, honestly, at Slaughterhouse, I could see it. Supernova might be a strong team, but historically, I would argue that Slaughterhouse have had better results, especially with their current comp. So Supernova, I think you mentioned before, Supernova's changed their comp up a lot recently. This is actually has more of a look of one of their old school compositions, but they did have a different comp for a long time, and this composition's less tested. And coming into more team heavy maps like TC Ancho, which is what we're going to be going into now, I would expect a stronger showing out of them. Now, that being said, Supernova have been very strong today, and I think you'd agree with me. There's been incredible plays coming out from all of them, and Juan has been a complete bright spot. And I mean, yeah, that's for me so far. That's what it's been looking like.
No, absolutely agree. There's been a lot of fantastic plays. I mean, you know, I commented on a couple of plays that Zero is making, and a couple of those wise decisions to try to shut down the objective plays, right? Which is exactly what Supernova is going to try to do here to stall for a little bit more time. But we'll have to see if they can do that once more. Again, as you mentioned, another tower control map. Potentially, this is something that Slaughterhouse can take advantage of on a neutral pick. As a reminder, Slaughterhouse currently 100% on their counter pick conversion, but they have 0% on any other map, so they'll need to take this neutral map here to stay alive in the set. And what did you want to comment on here?
There it is, Power with the charger. He's bringing out the charger. He's bringing out the fire fin. So that's the first time in this set I think we've seen it. He's played Bamboo.
I think he played it once.
Are you sure?
I think he played it in another game. I could be wrong.
I mean, look, I'm just going off this. This is the first time I've seen it. Maybe
That's
I might
fair.
be blind. But Power bringing out the fire fin, and other than that, the looks are the same from both teams. So that's the only difference I'm seeing. Oh, huge pick from Zero. What was that? That was like the pixel perfect on the edge of a bubble. Soldier though trading it back and then looking for another hit. That manages to work out for them. Slaughterhouse now with the advantage in the mid. They're gonna use that opportunity to push onto the plat.
Do y'all ever just feel that like Zero's range on his Tensa shot is just slightly more than yours? Because that's what it felt like there for me. Was able to just find that, as you mentioned, pixel perfect play. But now all of a sudden it's another 3-down situation for Supernovas. They just kind of fed into their opponents. Look at the amount of plat control that they have. Slaughterhouse does with all this purple ink on the map. They're going to clear this first checkpoint. They're going to approach this second, but this tower is only going to move so fast. They're really going for the lockout situation. Now Char's going to come up from behind, looking for a little bit more of that chip damage onto the tower. Power is going to be forced to back on away and is going to be forced to drop as well, trying to provide a little bit more pressure with this bomb rush, but there's no one on the tower right now. They have to clear out Char first, and they're going to be able to do that here. Another one goes down here as well for Supernova, and Slaughterhouse is just continuing to build up momentum.
People don't really talk about it, right? But the torps also have a huge purpose aside from damage. Oh, that was a massive bubble. Keen.
That is massive brain.
Yeah, huge, but like I was saying, torpedoes have a huge impact. They're like point sensors kind of, because they auto-locate to where the person is. So you can see Keen there. They're gonna do that. They're gonna use those torps to point out locations of the enemy team, and it's gonna work out in their favor. I'm just saying this now because Supernova have control of the mid, and there's gonna be nothing happening for the next 30 seconds of the match.
Four specials online right now for Supernova. They'll be able to pop those whenever they please, and it looks like it's going to be now as they try to find out where some of these members are coming from. The 10 also is going to run out, but we are going to see one go down with the splashdown here. That's Juan, not going to be able to provide a little any more of that. Arashi tries to be a little bit more aggressive, but right now, this push is falling apart for Supernova. Okay, I say that. Soldier just kind of dives in there. The Incarmers are live right now, and so the push is actually going to stay alive for Supernova as they look to try to get a little bit more yellow ink on this plat. The Bomb Rush is going to be able to take down Power as well, who was kind of busy trying to chuck his own bombs, and so that first checkpoint is going to get cleared as Supernova starts to move on forward. But wait, what? You're getting a double with a suction bomb?
Okay, Taylor, save it from nothing. I mean, look, that was a misplay after a misplay on Slaughterhouse's side. Soldier jumping in and Power getting taken out by a bomb that he could have easily avoided. But that doesn't matter if Taylor's going to do that. And the team's going to clean up. Keen now going to sit on that tower and watch that thing go back to the middle. Doing a good job there. And it's hopefully going to... Oh, okay, splashdowns and splashdowns. Soldier caught a bad situation yet again. It's Supernova back at it. Another opportunity to push on the supply.
Another opportunity, but that second checkpoint still stands for Slaughterhouse right now, which is going to be absolutely crucial. I want to see them back on away. I want to see them play around that checkpoint, but it's a 2-down situation for Supernova right now as they were able to find the defense. Char is the last one alive around this tower here, and Juan's trying to support from the bottom, but the bubbles are going to come on through, making sure that this flat is locked down for Slaughterhouse, and they're going to take care of the rest of that push coming in from Supernova, although last time I said that, we saw someone from Supernova just pop off and make a play, so looks like Slaughterhouse really isn't being aggressive, and they're comfortable just laying down the ink here and making sure this tower doesn't go past its current position.
Yeah, Power now with a very crucial bomb rush. He's going to want to try and make some space for his team on that plat. It's going to work out. They're going to create some space. Taylor's going to push up, manages to get one. The missile's now putting a load of pressure on. Taylor gets picked off. Soldier Keen and Power a little bit pushed back here. Maybe wait, didn't expect that. And Taylor kind of just feeding in on a load, looking for the pick. Keen with the bubbles coming out now. That's not great. That's not great at all.
That is not great at all. You did not want to give away that second checkpoint. Now it's a 2-down situation for Slaughterhouse, which means Supernova is going to try to continue pushing on forward. You see the yellow ink is plenty around this map right now and around the tower. Power can't quite seem to find the shot onto Juan to shut this down for the time being. 2-down situation for Slaughterhouse even still, and Juan is going to just continue pushing forward in favor of Supernova. Taylor and Arashi around this tower. Arashi just trying to dance around this pole, try to get taken care of business. But Power's going to get the shot from behind in order to try to shut this down. Will they find a breathing room? Power finds another here. It's a 2-down situation for Supernova, and it might be the end of this push, but they have to be even more careful. This tower has stayed on the Slaughterhouse side of the map for at least the past 2 minutes, and now it's got to go all the way back to the Supernova spawn. We'll see if they can do that, but they can't quite keep going down like this. The Soldier goes down once more. Power just can't quite seem to find the shot right now, can't quite seem to find the angle with this Firefin Charger, and with 16 seconds left to go, Slaughterhouse needs to make a move, and they're running out of time.
Yeah, honestly, this has all been Supernova the second half of the game. Cold motor might have been the correct way of putting it. Actually, you know, I'm going to go back to my old analogy. This is going to be Slaughterhouse's final attempt at the tower if they manage to get on. If they manage to get on, that's not going to be the case. And Supernova going to be taking this one all the way with the 5-2. I was going to say it straight out. Nobody expected that one. Incredible play coming up from them today.
Absolutely fantastic play, as you mentioned yourself. And this is a side of Supernova that a lot of us weren't expecting as of last week, right? You can tell that this was definitely much more rehearsed on their end. You can tell that they definitely had a game plan that they wanted to achieve, and everything just kind of decided to lock into place tonight. Especially, I think, critical to that in a large portion was Juan able to cause a little bit more chaos there on the front lines.
Yeah, definitely. That was. I mean, honestly, I put not all of it down to one, but he definitely made an incredible amount of impact in that game. He was top fragging like maybe 4 of the games that he was in there. Like there was a lot of time that he spent absolutely destroying the enemy team, and maybe he was that missing piece. Maybe he was everything that Supernova needed. And last week, everybody's been saying, I've seen it. They knew they made a mistake last week. They knew they weren't playing their best, and they've come together as a team. They've looked at those problems. They've scrim reviewed Hexen style. They've done what Power does. They've gone onto AIM Labs, done their AIM Labs training, #ad, and brought it all together for this match. And honestly, I didn't expect it.
I don't think, well, obviously none of us did. We all predicted Slaughterhouse to come out, 3-5. And once again, I almost think this is like a curse, that Slaughterhouse just cannot find the sets when they matter, It's like, think of the last time that a Slaughterhouse or Deep Blues composition was able to beat any of the other teams in this league. Because it has been a while, I think, since it was probably when they were called Deep Blues as opposed to actually Slaughterhouse. So that's just, it's been rough for Slaughterhouse, and you got to feel for him. so far, I think. You know, we thought that today might have been the day. Today was not that day. And Supernova silences everyone. They're able to come away with a 5-2 victory again. Yeah, I think that's about it. And so, but once again, we were talking about this a little bit, but in terms of playoff implications right now, Supernova has one more match to go. Actually, both these teams have one more match to go. Both of them are against FT Win. So Slaughterhouse most likely is out of playoff contention. Slaughterhouse would have to beat FT Win, and then also hope that some other stuff happens. So they no longer control their own destiny, but Supernova could potentially clinch a second spot if they get a win over FT Win. We'll have to see, of course, how this all plays and shakes out. Dragonuto, any other thoughts on the day?
None at all, actually. To be honest, this was a bit of a shot, a bit of a throwout. I didn't expect this to go this far. Like, I mean, honestly, looking at it how it is, it just looks like Slaughterhouse got their maps by luck. Like the way that it looks out, if I'm looking at the map list, it was Supernova dominant past Piranha Pit. Like, they got new Albacore. They might have got new Albacore Hotel, but aside from that, Rainmaker, Blackbelly, Splasms, Blackbelly, even TC MakoMart. Aside from that, like they showed that they were still there, and then in Ancho-V, like, they let it go at the start and then came back in, you know? That was the same thing that happened on Piranha Pit. It was the same thing that happened on the Reef. And outside of those matches where it was somewhat close, it was a blowout. Like, they just did it, and I know, I just didn't expect that coming out of them, and I'm quite happy that they did, and I mean, it's interesting. It makes for a good story.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly where this goes. I mean, now I wish that I had like a Supernova Starburst rematch to look forward to, right? Because that set was like decently close. It was also a 5-2, I think. But I think, like, what if this iteration of Supernova would have gone up against Starburst? What would that set have looked like? Always kind of fun to like theorize about those sorts of things, and maybe that's something we'll have to look into in terms of league format. Cough, cough, sendo, cough, cough. Once again, I do not make those decisions. Anyway, that's going to do it, of course, from us for today. Tomorrow, there are going to be 2 more Transatlantic Splatoon League matches. One of them is going to be Usual Guys versus Lemonade. That'll be taking place at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time, which is, what time is that? Like 8 p.m. Central European.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central European, 7 p.m. GMT. So if you're British, that's what you expect. This is 7 p.m. GMT or +1 to that if you're European.
Right. So that'll be the first match of the night. That'll be on Nija's channel. You're gonna have to put up with Nija, Duracell, and Robbie for that one. We'll have to see how that one goes.
It'll be good.
It should be a good time. But immediately following that match, as a matter of fact, the second match will probably start during the latter stages of that first one. We're going to have Rift versus Radiance over here on this channel. I'll be commentating that one with Rissa. So plenty of Transatlantic Splatoon League action yet to go. We are in week 3 of 6 of regulation play. We hope you stick around. Of course, you can follow all of the league's activities at TASL_SPL on Twitter. With all that out of the way, of course, I've been joined by Dragonuto. Thank you so much for coming on along for that one, Toby. My name is Kbot.
Dragonuto.
What else?
I said follow me at Dragonuto and follow
your
Kbot.
Twitter's right there.
Yeah, I know it's right there, but, you know, I gotta say, people might not be looking,
All
you know? It's at Dragonuto, you know, I got the good at, and obviously follow Kbot as well at his at underneath his name right there.
Yeah, but that's gonna do it. Right, yeah, right.
Yeah, wait. It's all backwards. There you go. Perfect.
All right, that's gonna do it from us tonight, everybody. Take care. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one, and stay tuned for more Transatlantic Splatoon League action. Have a good night.
Good night.